Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
All right, and good morning. Many thanks for joining us. It is Tuesday, the 20th of February 2024, and we are back to make sure that we inspire you and make sure that your day is being driven to the fullest of the energy and the kind of atmosphere that we want to create for you on this fruitful Tuesday. On days like this, there are quite a number of things that we look at, and many of which are issues to deal with the national kind of situation, national importance, but besides that, also making sure that you, who did not have a fantastic Monday as the week kicked off, can easily have a great week that is on the go. But besides that, this is Good Morning Uganda here on your national broadcaster. We are coming to you live from Broadcast House here at Nile Avenue in Kampala. I am Jerome Paul Sonko. Besides that, I do have a team with me who is going to be part of the entire conversations. Now, the team with me, we will be leading these discussions that will lead to one of many things: information, to education, and making sure that you cop up to speed with what is happening both locally and internationally. But well, a team that is not only comprised of me, but of Chirabo Robert Nyonyintono and Chantal Olive Akandenda. Quite unfortunate that Olive Monica Najuma is not with us this Tuesday, but well, tomorrow, hopefully, she will be back to ensure that she is part of us as we continue inspiring your mornings. But as we are going into what is making headlines across the country, what has been happening over the weekend and as we kick-started off this week was something relating to social media and how one TikToker who is known as Pressure24, but the real name is Ibrahim Musana, who was arrested for using that platform or the TikTok platform to abuse the Kabaka of Uganda. Now, Uganda Kingdom has warned all the people that misuse social media platforms to attack the kingdom to stop, because anytime they will be arrested and brought to book, just like the gentleman who is Musana Ibrahim was arrested. Now, in an official statement from the kingdom delivered by the Minister for Information and Buganda, that is rather revealed by the Minister of Information for Buganda Kingdom, also serving as the spokesperson of the kingdom, that is Israel Kazibwe Toke. He further revealed and echoed out what the kingdom will have to do for all of those who will be using their social media platforms to send out insultive information to the kingdom or trying to create violence of any sort using those particular platforms. Of course, this was during the press conference held at Bulange Mengo, and also on the other hand, the police spokesperson, Fred Enanga, confirmed Ibrahim's arrest and highlighted on the charges he is likely to face following that arrest. Well, and it's on that particular account where I want to bring in the team as we get deeper into understanding what next for the social media users who normally use these platforms to promote hate speech. Not only that, but also to create misinformation for the many Ugandans who follow their platforms. I will start with you, Chirabo. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sonko, and viewers. Thank you so much for waking up with us this lovely Tuesday morning. Now, these things are relatively new in Uganda. Believe me or not.
The social media platforms?
These various social media platforms are relatively new, but also coupled with majority of Ugandans being youth. And sometimes I talk about quantity vis-a-vis quality. Now, with the excitement and moral decadence of where we've lost so much of our morals, such things are bound to happen. More so when there's laxity in the law or enforcement of the law. They happen. Now, the arrest of this young man is going to set a precedent Because so many a times, I think, and indeed it is true, the law has not been thorough or really enforced. And this has left loopholes. For example, we are talking about someone defaming, tainting the image of someone. But what about these social media nudes being released now and then? You know, don't we have a law against such things happening? So whenever the law is silent and there is something new with the population that we have as a country, quality, not quantity, the number of our youth, now you're exposing them to something new. And then we also have sometimes mentally sick people. You see, there was a report that was carried out. It was showing how many people have mental disorders. You see, we only look at people who have visited rehabilitation, you know, rehabilitation centers, those that have been taken to our referral hospital, Butabika, like the third person once visited there. So it becomes a problem that the law is weak. The law could be strong, but there hasn't been effective implementation to set a precedent that will deter others from doing so. So I'm happy that Uganda Kingdom has taken this on. If this so-called pressure 24 something really faces the wrath of the law, then it is going to scare, it is going to deter others from doing so.
And also, not to forget, you do realize that we do have the Computer Misuse Act 2022, which amongst the other laws, that is one of which the court rulings look at when they are deciding some of these particular cases or these particular arrests, like the one that was taken over, the one that is actually being accused of Pressure 24. So you do realize that if you're a social media user, lots of information that you share, you need to notice that, or you need to put it into books, that any kind of information you put out on your social media platform can easily lead into something. So that means the information you're giving to the people should be valid and factual. And the mere fact that whether you have a huge following or not, you should not be promoting hate speech or any sort of violence using these particular platforms. Well, let me get to Chantal Oliver Kandenda. I don't know whether you've ever fallen prey to social media or this particular sort of abuses of violence that is being spearheaded by social media goons and the like, for a lack of a better word. But besides that, good morning.
Good morning, Sanko. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. I'm fantastic. Looking into the situation that we are, have you ever fallen prey to any kind of abuse on social media?
Yes, especially in the comment section. When you, for example, post a video on TikTok or a reel on Instagram, there will always be someone who will come and they're throwing a very negative comment and you don't even understand why. But usually, if I get a chance to respond, I will tell this person, please heal. Some of these people are sick in the head and they actually need help. Some are sick emotionally and they need help. But talking about Musana, I've personally interacted with some of his videos previously and I was concerned that no one was coming out to say anything, because if we are having an exchange, say you and I, Sonko, we're having an exchange on social media, we're exchanging videos and comments and everything is blowing up, I would understand. But why would I go on social media and I start abusing someone who did not even provoke me? Yeah, if it was between politicians, you would probably say, okay, these are politicians bickering. No, you are an ordinary Ugandan and you have decided to pick on the Kabaka of Buganda. I also do think that it could be just them chasing clout. Because sometimes some people say every publicity is good publicity. True. So if I go on social media and I start abusing the president, for example, and I'm getting people following me, some commenting, some abusing me, I am building traction to my page. Yes. And some are doing it for that very reason. The unfortunate bit for him is that he really touched the wrong button.
Well, indeed, cloud chasing has actually forced many Ugandans to come out with abusive language on social media. like Chantal has mentioned, you do realize that not only the Kabak of Uganda has fallen prey, but when you look back the past 10 years or 5 in relation to how social media has been, looking at the first platforms that Ugandans were using, Facebook per se, where many have been throwing tantrums and scrutiny as well as abusive language to the president, the first family, different politicians. And you do realize, I think social media has given Ugandans so much power that even if you meet someone who's shy in person, they do have a lot to say behind the keyboard. Or
because there's no one who's watching them.
Well, and I think it's high time we start regulating ourselves, because the regulations set by the government are there. But you as a social media user, we do know that maybe you bought your phone or your smartphone and the like, and you also pay for your data. But you need to make sure that at least the information you're putting out there does not affect anyone, because at times it does affect people's mental health. Besides that, it also incites violence amongst the many people.
You know what I usually tell youths when I meet them about social media? I just give them a simple phrase, that anything you say can be used against you in court.
Exactly.
Once you have that camera, once you have that phone before you, at the back of your mind, always know one thing, that anything you say can be used can be used against you.
Because that is evidence. That is evidence you're putting out there.
So before you utter your mouth, for us journalists, we have a saying that the pen is mightier than the sword. That before you sit to type, if you're dealing in the print media, you know, in our journalism school, they always told us that the impact of what you're writing can cause life, can give life, can give peace, if I say that, or can kill. And they were giving us various areas where you see people who misuse the pen. Now, this day, it is not the pen, it is your phone, it is your laptop. So anything you say, you do, make sure, if it is be presented before court, it won't
it's your word against theirs.
Yes. And in such a time when social media is actually growing, you get to realize that if you want more information, authentic information, the better way is to keep your eyes glued on UBC. The UBC News is always here on a daily to ensure that you get information, first-hand information. Do not get lots of information from social media, because at times these accounts are only looking to get attention and also clout chasing, if I'm to put it in that way, and growing their accounts, not minding about the kind of content they're giving to the Ugandans. But with that, let's kick it off with our local news this morning to see what has been happening from the local scene in the country.
Well, we'll begin with Najjana Nkumbi, where we have FDC President at Najjana Nkumbi, Engineer Oboy Amriat, is arguing with the presidents from other political parties that include Democratic Party, Uganda People's Congress, and National Unity Platform to convene them rally behind the FDC flag bearer, Dr. Rosemary Arok Ogwal in Dokoro, woman member of parliament by election. The Deputy Secretary, Publicity Mulindwa Walidi Rubega, told the media at Najjana Nkumbi that they believe and have presented a candidate with the best credentials. Meanwhile, on merging government institutions, departments, and agencies, FDC says this rationalization will minimize public expenditure, but requests Ministry of Public Service to do it in a phased manner to eliminate redundancy. Meanwhile, Forum for Democratic Change, the Katonga faction, plans to hold a National Council meeting on the 21st this month to present the party reports and achievements to their president. The FDC Katonga chairman, Waswabili Gwa, also clarified on the rumors circulating on social media about reconciliation, saying the party will have engagements to decide on the candidate in Dokoro by-election. Still moving on, the General Court-Martial in Machindye set 19th of March this very year for the state reply in the bail application of 28 NUP suspects over alleged offenses of unlawful possession of fire ammunitions. This is the third time the accused have asked for bail application before the court-martial. the 28 National Unity Platform supporters who are grappling with offenses of unlawful possession of firearms that arose from the 2021 general elections have appeared in the General Court Martial before its chairman, Brigadier General Freeman Robert Mugabe, in Makindye to proceed with the case. They are accused of, among others, the accused, among others, include Olivia Lutaya, Robert Gumayo, Ronald Mayanja, Gadi Kakoza, Patrick Mwese, Simon Kijambu, Abdallah Matovu. This time, the leader of the opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, and other representatives in Parliament were there with family members of the accused persons who were in court, although the media was first restricted from covering the court affairs. And finally, from the local scene, a selection of members of Parliament want government to stop extending support to grant-aided schools and consider empowering more seed schools. The MPs say some schools getting support from government have abused the education roadmap by charging exorbitant fees. The Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports has engaged the petitioners against the exorbitant school fees charges. Last week, members of Parliament did not appreciate the government's response to the concerns regarding some schools which have made it a habit to charge exorbitant school fees. Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tayeba asked the Committee on Education and Sports to revisit the concerns and report back to Parliament today. The Committee of Education and Sports started with engaging with some of the petitioners against the vice, including Toro District 1 woman member of Parliament, Sarah Opendi. The session was closed from the media. The MPs want government to withdraw funding for all government-aided schools, since some of them have continuously abused the policy relating to school fees.
And also, as we are winding up with our local news, you get to realize that the Uganda People's Congress unveiled the party's flag bearer in the forthcoming Dokolo District woman member of Parliament by-election. UPC now follows FDC and NRM, while NUP plans to unveil the flag bearer after interest submission. UPC has convened the district conference for Dokolo District. This is following the death of Honorable Cecilia Ogwa. The conference, which was did present Sarah Aguti Nyankori, who also held the party's flag in 2021 elections as a preferred candidate for the Dokolo Woman MP before losing it to the late Honorable Cecilia Ogwa. UPC Constitution provides for the district conference to choose flag bearers at every elective period. And then Sarah Aguti was declared winner after Jaspin Achen and Anna Okwir stepped down. Sarah Aguti's candidature is anchored on improving education, health, and economic empowerment, as FDC and NRM have already fronted their flag bearer ahead of the forthcoming by-election, which is slated for the 21st of March. And well, we shall be following up on that particular story with the UBC News and also Good Morning Uganda. So away from the local scene and what has been happening in Uganda, it is time for us to check out and see what has been happening away from the country, on the continent and far away from the continent. Chantal Olive has details.
Well, far away from the continent, we start off with Russia. Like we all, Alexei Navalny was pronounced dead. Now, the family of the late says Putin, who is also the Putin critic, say that they have been told his body will not be released for 2 weeks. His mother was informed it was being held for chemical analysis, a representative for Navalny said. There has been no confirmation of the whereabouts of the body from Russian authorities, while efforts to locate it have been repeatedly shut down. The wife of the late Russian opposition leader has accused them of hiding it in a video yesterday, vowing to continue his work to fight for a free Russia. Yulia Navalnaya directly accused Russian President Putin of killing her husband. She also alleged his body was being kept until traces of poisoning by the nerve agent Novichok had disappeared. Her voice sometimes shaking with grief and anger, Miss Navalnaya asked viewers to stand alongside her and share the fury and hate for those who dared to kill their future. Now, away from that, lawyers for Julian Assange are launching what could be his final bid to avoid extradition to the U.S. to face trial over leaking military secrets. The two-day hearing at the High Court in London is due to hear his team argue he should be allowed a full appeal. There is no guarantee that will be granted, and if turned down, he could be handed over within weeks. Supporters of the WikiLeaks founder say he exposed wrongdoing, but the U.S. says Mr. Assange put lives at risk. Originally from Australia, Mr. Assange's mammoth legal battle began in 2010 when WikiLeaks disclosed huge numbers of confidential military files from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, including footage showing a United States helicopter gunning down civilians in Baghdad. He took refuge for 7 years in the Ecuadorian embassy in London before being arrested by the Metropolitan Police in 2019. The U.S. demanded his extradition from the UK that year, saying the disclosures endangered lives. Now, coming back to Africa, still on a sad note, animal welfare charities have welcomed an African-wide ban on the controversial donkey skin trade. It will make it illegal to slaughter donkeys for their skin across the continent. Demand for the animal's skin is fueled by the popularity of an ancient Chinese medicine called ejiao. Traditionally made from donkey hides, African state leaders approved the ban at the conclusion of the African Union Summit in Ethiopia on Sunday. The charity, the Donkey Sanctuary, called the trade brutal and unsustainable and said it had decimated donkey populations around the world, particularly in Africa and South America. ejiao is believed to have some anti-aging and health benefits, although it is unproven. Chinese companies that make it use skins from donkeys sources in China, but when the numbers of the animals in the country plummeted, they looked overseas. And lastly, speaking matters climate, plastic is essential to conveniently package food, beverage, personal care, and retail products. The downside of our addiction to it, however, is a widening pollution crisis with big implications for human health and no easy fixes. Vast archipelagos of plastic in the ocean have raised concerns for years, but the problem is everywhere, including in what we eat and drink. Sometimes indicate people consume up to 22 million microplastic particles a year. It's generated by car tires, and in California, researchers are finding high concentrations of microplastic wafting into the air from sludge compost used to make fertilizer. A decade ago, a Golden State banned single-use plastic bags, a move followed by states like New York and New Jersey. Yet, plastic bag waste by weight has steadily risen to unprecedented levels, in part due to increased use of thicker plastic bags at the checkout line that aren't covered by the original legislation. That is it for what is happening across different parts of the world and also matters climate.
Well, away from that, let's look into what is making headlines at the front of the papers, both locally and across the East African region, with which I do kick it off with what is making headlines from Uganda. UCE teachers named, pictorial showing the teachers that have led the performance, or that have actually spearheaded the performance of the best UCE schools and students in the country. The top teachers share tips and winning formula. More of that is in 3 pages of the New Vision today. So for the parents looking for schools, you can ideally look through and see which teachers you can look forward to. And then you can also look at Harvest Money Expo, water and energy solutions, as UCE best schools per subject highlighted in today's New Vision, as Mohozi appoints another minister, 8 others to the PLU. That is something you can as well follow up on the New Vision today. Now, furthermore, we look at what the Daily Monitor is highlighting still in our press review this morning, what new UPDF structure means. And of course, you can look at a pictorial of the Commander-in-Chief, that is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. There's also a pictorial of the Chief of Defense Forces at the front page in today's New Vision, that is General Wilson Mbadi, who will pretend the expanded Joint Services Headquarters and take full command and control of the army. So you can read about how, what this new structure means so that you can cop up to speed with the statement that was aired out by the president using his X app or his X handle over the weekend. Now, also in the Rainbow magazine, Chibuka holds graduation. As in other news, government moves to hook diaspora on parish model. How is that going to be done? Read about it in the Daily Monitor. Now we cross the borders to Kenya. The Daily Nation, death traps in schools. Read about that as new reform shows the increased enrollment without sufficient expansion of facilities is a ticking time bomb, according to what the Daily Nation is highlighting today. Then also, Kenya Power billed Kenyans an extra 70 billion Kenyan shillings, according to what the Daily Nation is highlighting today. Now, the public debt surges past 11 trillion Kenyan shillings. Read about that in the Daily Nation. Then in the Healthy Nation, why I want doctors to end my life. A report coming in from a patient. That is in the Daily Nation. Now, Ruto wants total loyalty from Kenya Kwanza members of parliament. That is according to the Daily Nation, a pictorial of President William Ruto and some of the Kenya Kwanza members of parliament, including the Deputy President Gachagua, in today's Daily Nation. Lastly, from the Daily Nation, crime. Nat wants families of teachers killed by bandits compensated. And then lastly, from the East African perspective, we look at the East African newspaper. The African Union's 2023 scorecard. The continental body takes up new assignments as the forgotten issues rear their ugly head. Now, Congo is burning. Kinshasa, Rwanda and Burundi leaders have traded blame on who is fanning the new violence in the restive eastern region. But in the jungles are also foreigners exploiting blood minerals. Interesting report. Then also a magazine, 100 Years of Radio in Africa. Read about that. As in the other news, how Kenya shilling rallied against the dollar. CBK intervention inflows from bond buyers. As an interesting opinion, Democratic Republic of Congo's maize on the roadsides. As money, Zanzibar no longer has any alcohol. Then in the outlook, the other forgotten war in Congo. That is something that you can look into the East African, as they also highlight that the non-tariff barriers are costing the East African community so dearly. Well, and that is all we've gathered for you from the world of the local and international news, including the press review. Now, after the break, when we do return, we have a conversation, a big one onto that, in relation to the crime report. The annual crime report, this time around for 2023, will be released, or the launch will be coming up tomorrow on Wednesday. But of course, before that, we will be looking deeper into the previous reports that the police does release annually, looking into the situation, how have we been faring, and how is the crime rate in the country. But before that, we do have our inspiration song of the day. This particular one is coming in from Akon and Michael Jackson. Title is Hold My Hand. Good morning.
Love you, Michael. Love you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Love you.
This life don't last forever. of being lonely. Take my hand, don't let go, baby, hold me. Come to me and let me be your one and only. Cause I can make it all right till the morning. I can tell that you're tired of being lonely. Take my hand, don't let go, baby, hold me. Come to me and let me be your one and only. Cause I can make it all right till the morning. Baby, I promise that I'll do things will be better if you just hold my hand. Nothing can come between us if you just hold my hand. Hold my hand. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hold my hand. Hold my hand. Nothing can come between us if you just hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
Well, and many thanks for sticking around to Good Morning Uganda. We have a conversation today that is pretty much looking into crime in Uganda. And I did mention that it is something that we are looking at as we prepare you for the launch of the crime report for 2023. It is 2024, but obviously with this annual report, it is normally looking back at the previous year, how we've been faring in regards to crime prevention, crime control, and which crimes have been leading the pack in the country, if I'm to put it in that way. Pretty much the conversation that I'm going to be having this morning is a conversation amongst Chantal Oliver Kandenda, Robert Chirabo Nyonyi Ntono, and myself, but not to forget you, our viewer, who will be definitely giving us your opinion on the same matter or on the same topic of discussion here this morning. Tomorrow, the Uganda Police will be releasing the annual crime report for 2023. Last year, it was around this particular time because on the 22nd of 2023 is when the Uganda Police did release the annual report for 2022, the annual crime report for 2022. And of course, when you look at some of the blames in regards to the rise in crime, because last year's annual report showed that there was an 18% increase in crime. That percentage of an increase was for the year 2022. And in 2022, we had just survived the COVID-19 pandemic around 2021, 2022. So we were just getting back into full operation as a country in relation to how the economy was working and how we socially interact with quite a number. And when you look at this particular rise of 18% as of 2022, it was the cases were highly pushed or were highly due to the reopening of the economy following the lockdown, which was instituted by the government to curb the spread of coronavirus. We all remember that time from 2020, 2021, and till about 2022, the economy had just reopened, so it was still a little bit more of there was still more stringent kind of measures that were still in place by the government, but there was an increase of 18%. Now, tomorrow we shall get to know of how far have we come as a country? Do we have an increase, or have the crimes decreased? That is a conversation we're going to be having. But building onto it, we are looking back at the past years. How have we been faring in the world of crime? But then also, which crimes have been so, I don't know which kind of word I should use, because if I say which crime has been leading the way, it looks like it's a competition of a sort. But let me start with you, Chirabo. The crime rate in the country. First of all, one would wonder, which are some of the highlights or which crimes were leading the way? Let me just use that particular word. Which crimes were leading the way in the previous crime report that was released last year?
Well, first we must understand that for these crime reports, one of the things we see is there's always been a decline in crime generally, but there's been either maintaining or increase in particular crimes.
Okay.
Now, the 18% is an increase of volume of cases that were reported to police, because we were coming from the lockdown, and remember, people didn't have access, movement was restricted. Now, the 2022 report comes at a time where they had opened the economy, and there was an increase of volume of cases that were reported to police. But I'm very eager to see if this time we shall see a change, because we've had about 4 crimes that have consistently taken number 1,
Led the way.
number 2, and number 3. And I'm waiting to see if tomorrow's report, no wonder even 2022 was launched on a Wednesday, and tomorrow 2023 is also going to be a Wednesday around this very time, like you said. The other one was 22nd, this one's going to be 21st. But same month and just same week. The day is the same, it's just the that is changing. Now, when you look at this report, number 1, number 2, and number 3, respectively, we have theft. Number 1, topping. We have common assaults, domestic violence. These have maintained their positions. They have held for the last 2 consecutive years in the annual crime report. So that means 2021, 2020, 2022, these 3. And when you look at deeper into the report, you find that theft in 2022, we had 61,508 cases were reported to police. Now, I use the word reported to police because there are those that go uncaptured. There are those that end in the public court.
Yes.
We discipline you, we give you strokes of the cane, or we settle, the family pays what you've stolen, and that doesn't make it to court, to police. Now, you move to assault. In 2022, theft, we had 61,508. That was 2022, but in 2001, we had 43,583. Now, that is an increase of 41%. It's slightly a big increase. Now, you move to assault. 2021, you had 29,317 cases. Now, when it comes to 2022, you have 32,041, an increase of 9% assaults. Now, we go to domestic violence, something we'd think that would be on a reduction with so much civil society action, the law, women activists here and there. We had domestic violence in 2001, we had 17,533 cases. These were reported to police. Now, come to 2022, we had 17.
That was 2001, 2021.
2021.
Okay.
Now, 2022, you have 17,698 cases. And the annoying ones, though all are annoying, for that you have an increase of 1%. But what It's annoying. You come to sex-related offenses. 2021, you have 16,373 cases. Now, come to 2022, you have 14,693. This, good enough, there was a reduction. It is a negative 10 there. But you ask yourself, why do we still have domestic violence, sexually related offenses topping this list, much as generally these reports were showing a decline in crime?
And that is where I'm going to bring in Chantal Oliver Kandinda. Well, you also get to realize that with the 18% of an increase in 2022, 231,653 of these cases were registered in 2022. Now, when you go back to 2021, we had only registered 196,081 cases. So that was a drastic increase, if I'm to put it in that way, from 2021 to 2022. And during the time of COVID-19, you do realize that not so many cases were being reported or registered by the police. One may wonder, is it because of the COVID-19 lockdown or not? But again, the cases that were being registered or that were being reported were still cases to do with domestic violence amongst the leading cases of crime on this list. When you look at some of these particular cases, Chantal, it does look like these are cases that are continuously growing within our community.
Well, for starters, these cases were there. It's just that our report, the way we were reporting them was not as, maybe can I say as good as now. But also, please do remember that social media has done a has done a great deal when it comes to reporting. How? You're going to see videos of a stepmom battering a child or mistreating a child, videos you wouldn't have seen some few years ago making rounds on social media. That makes it even easy to look for the person and to report. But also during the lockdown, that's when we saw more cases because, you know, just a small trend of how most families live. People don't stay at home. So you're going to wake up in the morning, you're here, by say latest 6 a.m. you're here, and you've left a woman at home, or she's also gone to work.
Yes.
When we return in the evening, we are both tired. I'm preparing for work the following day, and you are doing the same, and then probably if we have kids, we're looking after the kids. So we don't have so much time together. Now the lockdown hits us, and people start to fight day in, day out, day in, because they are in the same space. So that means even where you are keeping quiet, this time around you're going to feel like this is too much, I need to report it. Yeah? And then you go ahead and report.
And the cases kept on
And then the case now kept on coming in and coming in. And when one person reports, the other gets the guts to report, and then the other also gets the guts to report. And then also social media keeps, you know, people keep recording, even behind curtains they're recording. This one is battering the wife, this one is beating the husband, this one is beating the children. So these cases have been, you know, more pronounced. One, because people grew tired of being in the same space, and they had no choice but to report. But also, people realize that social media actually helps. If I cannot go and report it to the police, or if I get there and they ask me what shows, there is something that shows you beat me up. There is a recording, there is a picture. And now that makes them more pronounced. And if we were to really trace back, these cases have been there. Not reported well, but they have been there. Domestic violence has been there for a very, very long time. The only thing the lockdown did and social media did was help us get these things more pronounced out there. People grew tired. So at this point, the increase can only be seen because one, social media, and people had the time.
Yes.
People had the time to be in people's business, even up to now. If I am on the street and I'm seeing something weird happening, I'm likely to pull out my phone and start recording. Without even anyone noticing.
Yes, you'll be concerned from afar.
Yes, and you start recording. You see someone zooming in, and people will be like, how can they do that? How can they beat up someone like that? How can someone was caught stealing on camera? How, when you study the transition of when did we start installing cameras in our businesses, when did the trend start carrying more water? When more people started to be reported by the cameras that had been installed in these shops. So the transition has been because these things have been there, but they're now more pronounced because we have means. We are using technology, for example, to be able to see these things, and they get to be more pronounced, but they've been there.
And well, of course, amongst the other cases that we expect, you know, in this report includes the phone snatching, something that has actually now taken shape once again. It wasn't so much active during the COVID-19, obviously, because people were home. But as of now, when you look at the police footage from the CCTV cameras that are installed across the city and the various suburbs, you realize many are being robbed during daytime.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight. And then even, you know, during, you know, traffic jam, especially around the traffic lights. And it's something that we also anticipate during this particular report. But also to you, our viewer, you can share your opinion on what has been on your side, the most prevailing sort of crime or crimes in 2023 as the police prepares to release its annual report tomorrow, or as the launch for the annual report comes out tomorrow. So what do you think as a viewer in your area or in your neighborhood? What do you think has been the most prevailing crime or crimes? It may be a crime or many crimes that you've ideally seen that every week, at least this nature of a crime has been reported or has been cited in your area in 2023. As we look through, as we also prepare you for what the police will be bringing up to speed tomorrow on Wednesday. Chirabo, when you look at some of these particular cases, we have an issue to do with cyber fraud, which is still another key crime in the country. As we're looking into the measures that, of course, as we are looking into these particular crimes that are coming up, the police is going to come out and give us the crimes. But when you look at the measures that were, you know, put in place last year, have most of these been implemented?
Well, just a brief before I go to cyber, because there is the crime that topped in the two reports, 2022, 2021, that was outstanding. That was offenses against children, or what we can call child-related offenses. They have been recording the highest in percentage. For example, and this is of concern,
yes.
I just hope it doesn't happen again. Because when you look at the report, they recorded the biggest increased number of cases committed and reported. Now with a 55%, when you look at the two reports, no crime has a 55% increase. But when you look at this particular crime, from 8,681 cases to 13,489 cases. Now we have so many NGOs on child rights, children affairs. We have a ministry there, gender, labor, social development. There's a full minister there for youth and children. But this is a crime that in terms of percentages, like we said, for the last 2 consecutive years, crime has been decreasing. Volume reported has been increasing. But then we've had particular crimes that have extremely risen above. And then we have the 4 that have maintained consistent. Now, coming to cybercrime, we must understand that one of the most sophisticated crimes are crimes where someone uses the internet. One, every day new developments come up. I want to tell you, every day someone is developing either an app for good reasons or bad reasons. Globally, we've heard of hackers. These are young boys that will sit, they have mastered the art of this technology, and they will develop ways of how to steal Chantal's money in a certain bank, my money in a certain bank, how to hack into your account, my account, mobile money. So it's a crime that is evolving. It's not consistent. Like maybe you say defilement is defilement. You know?
There is no upgrade.
There is no upgrade to defilement. Rape is rape. You know? robbery, either aggravated, but with cyber, it evolves.
It gets better.
The more technology you come up with, that's why you see that even with your phone, they'll keep on telling you upgrade. You know?
Update, even the Bible
Update.
app.
Recently, Umeme has embarked on a move for people to upgrade their yaka. Because the other system is getting, it's been around for about 10 years, getting old, but also they have developed tricksters that had learned techniques of buying units.
And they were actually brokers.
Yes,
for your
those
units.
units.
yes, for those units. So the people that made the technology said, no, that 20 digit, now we must have an update to counter that. So, 2, there's been little awareness regarding the stop gaps that people should take. Say this phone, how many people have been sensitized on how to make sure that your phone is safe, the information you have is safe? I've seen people who go to mobile money and they'll tell the agent, pini yange eri 10, take a more percent. You know?
So it's as...
They see it as it's an inconvenience. You do it for me. They surrender their phone there. I've seen a person who tell Chilabo, go and withdraw money for me. Go to people who leave their accounts when they have not logged out or signed out. Because for him, it's easy for him. He doesn't have to
log in again.
So police has not done so or enough sensitization. Yes, they have upped their game in training more officers. We have a whole department that investigates cyber crimes. They have tried to buy some sort of software that is against, but awareness levels are still very, very low.
Also, not to forget, when you look at some of the cases that were recorded in 2022, 68,405 were taken to court, while 26,749 were not taken. So still with the report, we expect to see which cases were settled in the courts of law, which cases are yet to be, or which cases weren't.
I'm also hoping to see that we have less people on remand. Yeah, because now, I mean, how many people go to court? How many cases are resolved in a year? And how many are closed totally? So that, 1, we avoid congestion in our prisons. 2, we also ensure that, you know, we have less, you know, less criminality out there. Because if someone reports a case, for example, and it's not resolved, where is that victim? I mean, where is the person accused or the person who was in the mix? Are they out on bail? Are they inside the prison? Where are they exactly? Because we've heard of cases where you go and report, you're getting out, and the person is coming out following you, the one you've just reported. You get it?
I know.
And those are some of the things as to why we see these cases prevailing. I mean, if I've reported you for theft and they're telling you, we cannot find anything, when I'm getting out, you're also getting out. That means that you know, in a way, some of these crimes are being facilitated by the fact that nothing much is being done to the people who are perpetrators. So I am hoping that in this new report, 1, we have less people. I mean, we have more people having their cases resolved and closed, so to say. We have more people being arrested and paying for their what? For their crimes.
For their crimes.
Yes.
You know, Chiroma, I also want to look at the issue to do with whistleblowers in the country today. Many government agencies as well are calling out for the whistleblowers to come out. And we've actually identified the fact that now cases being reported are increasing. Back in the time, we had many crimes, but the reports weren't coming out as such. But looking at a time like this, where there is an emergence of social media, at times the whistleblowers are actually scared or insecure about their whereabouts, especially after giving out such kind of information that would definitely send someone to prison or, you know, face a specific judgment given the ruling by the courts of law or the police itself. Looking at it this way, as we are trying to also prevent crime in the country, how do we safeguard the whistleblowers?
Now, here we are having issues regarding police, and we're also having some regarding judiciary.
Yes.
Yes, you would say when you look at the three arms of government, these two follow under the same. But then there comes a challenge of how these fit into one another. I've seen very many times where the judiciary feels they should be working with the investigative officers to better understand the approach they should take when gathering evidence. Now, you find that we have the Whistleblowers Act, but we still have challenges in protecting the whistleblower. Most of the times we've hosted the Deputy Inspector General of Government, and she has been very critical, saying, come give information. But when you give information, also be mindful that the information you're giving us is right. But also, as we seek to protect you, please also protect yourself. We've had whistleblowers who give relevant information, but then brag about
How
that
they've given the information.
So, the protection bit of it by either the office of the IGG and other security becomes a problem. Because our whistleblower is protected under our law. But there are conditions. I'll give an example. National Water and Sewage Corporation is carrying out a campaign against water theft or stealing water. And a whistleblower is given even a percentage of the money recovered. It's over about 10% of the money recovered in that.
Just a quick one, Chirao. And to you, our dear viewer, you can share your view and opinion on this topic of discussion that we are having here this particular morning. You can use our WhatsApp number to share your views. And in our poll today is, in your view, what do you consider the most prevalent crimes of 2023 as the police gears up to unveil its annual report? The WhatsApp number is 0709 602 592, and you can also go into the X app at UBC TV Uganda using the hashtag UBCGMU. The poll is, in your view, what do you consider the most prevalent crimes of 2023 as the police gears up to unveil its annual report? You can send in your comments on WhatsApp and on the X app as we are winding up with our conversations. Yes,
now, there becomes a problem. But we must also factor in, why does police come up with their report? What is the essence? Because basically, what is entailed in this report is what crimes have been reported to police, what have been the reductions, what have been the increases, what have been the outstanding crimes. Now, to fight crime, much as we need police, but police will tell you, Chantal talked about successful prosecution. Now, police will receive the case, carry out investigations, forward to the Director of Public Prosecution to see if there is any case, given the information that has been provided. Now, thereafter, prosecution will start its case. Now, this is where we have a challenge. One, Ugandans giving evidence is a challenge. And most of the times, police is stuck because people don't want to come and give evidence. Yes, many will talk about confidentiality. You know, how am I safe if I give evidence? That is a challenge. But also the other challenge we usually have is when some cases happen where police has to get evidence from the scene of crime. Most of these times, I don't know what we are going to do as a country.
As you're summing up, Chirao.
These scenes of crimes have been tampered with. Beyond when something happens, a Chirabo will come, a Sonko will come. We don't protect scenes of crime. So we do not have successful prosecution because you don't have scientific evidence to present it has been already tampered with. So I'm very interested in seeing which recommendations and the steps police is going to put in place to cause reduction in terms of these cases, but also awareness of how best, we talked about cyber crimes.
Yes.
How are the people aware, how they can protect themselves, because you're your first line of security. Then these recommendations, how are they going to be put in place?
Okay. And Chantal Oliver Candid, in your parting shots, looking into the annual report for 2023, I want, first of all, in just a minute, what do you think has been one of the most prevalent crime in 2023, and then what recommendations would you give to the police?
I still think theft still takes the lead.
Okay.
And well, in the middle there, when you look at the report from 2022, you realize that yes, we do have theft taking the lead, but after that, I think we will now go to cases of domestic violence, and then the cases, and then the crimes against children. And what can be done? One, for example, phone snatching. In the areas, it's more prevalent in areas of old Kampala. And then when it comes to cars, you're going to go to Katwe. I like this report because it breaks down for you the different areas and what is prevalent in those areas. So my thought would be, when these cases are reported, police needs to reduce on that corruption and whatever happens in there. There is no way I'm going to report someone and then 1 minute I'm out and the person is following me from behind. Nothing has been done.
Definitely be worried as well.
Yes, nothing, because if I've reported you, who knows, you might come after me because I reported you. So let's
if
make
it's
sure.
right to be let out, beyond 48 hours, the person must be out, if not taken to court.
Well,
in a minute,
we might have this conversation and proceed past the time, because the truth is, it's now at that point it starts to seem like the law has eyes. The law is not supposed to have eyes.
Okay.
You shouldn't know sheriff or shouldn't know who, because some people have been kept for more than 48 hours, and some have been kept for less than 2 hours.
And well, of course, our conversation does come to an end. I'll go through one comment coming in from a viewer who says, "Good morning, JP, Chantal, and Uncle Bob. I think there is increase from crime rate for only 3 reasons, notably selective justice, corruption, and weak laws. They say no one is above the law, but this seems not to be applicable in Uganda. Some people can kill, insult, or kill or steal, but law enforcers just ignore them, maybe due to their popularity or financial status. Then there are some penalties that don't match with the crimes. One can bear to be jailed for 2 months, and once they are out, they start from where they ended." He has a critical point there. Even some people's lives seem to be immune to prison life. Then lastly, without corrupt law enforcers, I see no win in the fight against crimes. Well, there will be a win if we are
Because
hopeful
we've had reduction
and we
in some
continue
crimes.
doing this. Cricket Derek Gagamel from Makindye Luafu, thank you very much for that particular comment. And of course, our conversations and discussions continue online. You can share your views and opinions on the same topic that we've been having as we await for the annual report of 2023 to be released by the Uganda Police. I'm Joram Paul Sonkov, been with Chirabo Robert Nyonyitono and Chantal Oliver Candida. Coming up shortly is the Ugi Tourism Express with Alan Namisango. So stick around. Good morning.
Junko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda wange, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Junko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV Channel 20, and Azam TV Channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
It's a beautiful morning over here. Hope you're having one too. And it really does excite us to know that you let us start that day with you to inspire you, motivate you, and captivate you with the boundless beauties that lie within our borders. Uganda is the pearl of Africa, and over time, it has really proved or testified to show that it is really the pearl of Africa, because a lot of beauty lies in here, that diverse natural wonders, the diverse cultures that we have, the lakes that we have, the longest river, gorillas, like a lot lies within the country. And it really testifies to say that Uganda is the pearl of Africa. It would be an understatement not to call Uganda really the pearl of Africa. And we remember that the first son, Honorable Muhoozi Kainerugaba, calls Uganda the jewel of the world. And yes, Uganda really deserves to be called all these beautiful names. It is only to people that don't travel around or do not explore the country that would feel that it is maybe an overstatement. But if you've gone to the countryside of Uganda, if you've taken time to delve deeper into the tourism in the Kampala city, you would really understand and also become proud that indeed Uganda is the pearl of Africa. And as you think about exploring Uganda, you should be sure that a lot awaits you, both the local tourists and international tourists. This is the GM Tourism Express with Irene Alena Misango. And here we take you through all we are the daily dose about Uganda's tourism, taking you everything that you would need to know about the pearl of Africa and the activities, accommodation, everything. Yeah, today going into the travel news, today the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities is said the media at the Uganda Media Center. But the question is, what are we anticipating to hear from the minister? Honorable Time will be addressing the media today, but a lot of questions have been going on, or a lot of changes have really happened in the tourism industry. Just in the space of this year, 2024, we've had the new board of directors for the Uganda Tourism Board. We've had changes in the Uganda Wildlife Authority charges for the national parks activities. We are having the Wildlife Day celebrations coming up. We've had Explore Usoga. Like, a lot has been happening. We had the NAM summits and the G77 summit. So a lot has been happening in the tourism industry. And I think it is the perfect time for the Honorable to come out and address the media to tell us maybe the plans that they have in the industry, but also to take us through the program that is going to be going on ahead of the celebrations of the World Wildlife Day that is going to happen on 3rd March. Remember, on 25th, this is Sunday, we have the Wildlife Marathon that is happening, and set off will be at the Uganda Museum. So get your kit, go to the Uganda Museum, go to UWA, go to the Ministry of Tourism and buy a kit. The theme for this marathon is to educate the children of the fallen rangers. That is a kind reminder that I'll be giving you every day so that you go and buy that kit for the Uganda Wildlife Marathon. Well, that is it that we had for you in the travel news. And going into the travel attraction today, yesterday I said that we have the 5 underrated reasons why you should visit Uganda. And yesterday we covered the people. That was number 1. Today, our number 2 is the food. You know that food tourism covers, the global food tourism size is valued at $804.95 billion US dollars. But the question is, how much of this is a percentage that is taken by Uganda? Because Uganda, as we are delving so much into the tourism industry, promoting several attractions that we have, products that we have we mastered also the art of promoting culinary tourism across the world, because other countries are really benefiting from food tourism. But I think there is some part here in our part of food tourism, yet Uganda has so many beautiful and delicious delicacies that we can let tourists come in and explore. And just to break down the food, the kind of foods that we have in the country that you would love to taste when you come for any tourism or any safari in the country. Because first of all, before I go into the types, first, when a tourist comes in the country, they will probably have 3 meals a day. That means food is a very important aspect for any safari that is going to happen in the country. So these are the 5 kinds of foods, okay, like 4 kinds of foods that you should look out when you come to Uganda. First, the street foods. When we talk about the street foods, we have the muchomo. Uganda, almost on each highway, we have a stopover that has some of the best muchomos that you can ever taste. That goes for chicken, beef. There is gonja, that is roasted plantain. We have roasted maize. I don't know whether you've tasted roasted maize, but it is one of that snack that you can really enjoy while you're traveling. Forget about the popcorns, forget about the crisps. They're also nice, but roasted maize, my friend, is something else that you need to taste or try as you're traveling around, maybe for those long journeys and drives as you're going to national parks or any place that you're going to visit. And another category, we can talk about the local menu. And matoke has still taken the top place in the local menu because this is the national food, I should say. Almost across the country, you're going to find matoke. And this is just plantain banana. It is usually just steamed and smashed for it to become more tasty, but that is how Ugandans usually have it. However, you can have matoke in the katogo form. That is matoke mixed maybe with beef, mixed with pasted nuts. And we can have sorghum, millet, that is sorghum, that is the kalo. Like there is a lot that you should taste in the local foods. And local food goes to also the staple foods that we have in the country. Every region has different staple foods. When you go to the eastern part, Mbale, you taste the malewa. You go to Mbarara, you taste the ishabwe. You taste sorghum when you go to the Karamoja region. Like there is a lot that you will taste or delve into the food part of it, part of tourism when you visit Uganda. Another category that we should think about when you're visiting the country, the dairy products. Here we are cattle keepers. When you go to the western part of the country, you have the long-horned cattle, and probably that is why even Ishawe is the staple food, because that part, they are really cattle keepers, and they have so many dairy products. The local cow ghee, this is usually used by Ugandans to add in their food, to spice it up maybe, to get that good scent for the food. So when you come to Uganda and taste a katogo that has cow ghee, you just know that you've tasted the local cow ghee, and it is fresh, just made, locally made by Ugandans. And they are also taking the there is bongo, that is somehow milk that has been kept for long time, that we have bongo. So you should think about the dairy products when you come into the country. But another way, you think about the community tours. Community tours are going to help you to learn how are these foods prepared. Because when you talk about food tourism, this is part of it is a segment of experiential tourism that allows you to taste, but you also get to know how are these foods prepared. So when you go for community tours, you're going to be able to learn how are they tested. For example, when you go to visit Lubiri here in Kampala, you'll be able to go to the garden and test, see how they harvest the plantain bananas. Then you come and see how they prepare it, the peeling part of it, cooking it, and then you test it, having the whole process of how they prepare the matoke. That is it that we had for you for the food that we have in the country, but not limited to those. There is a lot that you can actually taste when it comes to food in Uganda. When Mamadi was attempting to break the world record for the longest cookathon, she prepared more than 100 different dishes. Like every day, she cooked for, was it 120 hours? But she was preparing different dishes, 100 dishes. So when you come to the country, there is a lot that you can taste. And a tip that I can give you today, because we are talking about food, please make sure that you test as much foods as you can, because you see there are snacks that you can taste, the raw eggs, fried cassava, so much that you need to taste here in the country. Just make sure that you have enough time. When you have a stopover, you taste what is there. When you go for restaurants, go to local foods restaurants and taste the different delicacies that we have in the country. Thank you so much. I am Irene Alena Misango, Uganda Uncovered. Next is the GMU Tourism Update with GMU Business Update with Joram Paul Sonko.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
And it's now time for us to check in to see what is making headlines from the world of business. The world is moving straight into making some good money every day. As you're sleeping somewhere, someone is making some money. The nightlife economy, for example, here in Uganda, as you're sleeping, someone is utilizing that chance to make money. Your salary is someone's bill somewhere. So it is something that keeps you moving every other day. And just to re-echo some of the words from the Permanent Secretary to the Treasury, saying that in Uganda, the poor and the rich do not sleep. The poor don't sleep because they do not have what to eat. But the rich do not sleep because they have to protect what they made. So it's a crazy world, quite chaotic, if I'm to put it in that way. I'm Joram Paul Sonko, and kicking off from the world of business, we start off with the management of police, Exodus Sacco, which is to the report of the Parliamentary Committee on Defense and Internal Affairs concerning the inquiry into the operations of the police force Exodus Sacco. Now, the Sacco management has expressed dissatisfaction of the report for not appreciating the role that the Sacco has had in improving its members in regards to their welfare and well-being. The chairperson, Senior Commissioner of Police, Wilson Omoding, refuted the findings from the Parliamentary Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs report on the operations of this particular Sacco, and this particular Sacco, which is the Exodus Sacco in question. Omoding says that this report failed to recognize achievements of the Sacco in improving the members' welfare. The report initially found that the Sacco management lacks membership registration records and weighed the legitimate registration of the Sacco by the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives. Now, not only that, other report accusations which the Sacco management refutes are the interference of police authority in the Sacco operations and selective models of giving out loans to the different Sacco members. Now, some management has started consultation to implement report recommendations. Now, besides that, on the several occasions, Exodus Sacco has been on spot over mismanagement and transparency. Parliament recommends streamlining information flow and allowing members' participation in decision making. Because when you look at most of the SACCOs, because SACCOs are obviously when you look at the regulations and the fact that this kind of a SACCO is supposed to be having some regulations from the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, the question is, how are they carrying out the activities? That is what the Parliamentary Committee is actually trying to find out with the Exodus Sacco, and how different things are being run by the different members, and of course the head or the heads of the Sacco, the Exodus Sacco. And besides that, when you look at why SACCOs are actually put in place, it is to ensure that members benefit through savings, and of course also getting loans from these particular SACCOs, especially those that belong to those SACCOs. Now, lastly, from our local scene, in regards to business, the Directorate of Manifesto Implementation in the Office of the President say that innovation in science will mitigate effects of climate change. Discussions of climate change and climate change financing is one of those that has remained a very critical issue, not only in Uganda, but when you look across the world. This is a discussion for many governments. The Director of Manifesto Implementation, Willis Bashasha, says there is need to reinforce government efforts in driving Uganda's development agenda, and amongst the key issues at hand is addressing climate change. Now, the process of preparing food in every society involves firewood and charcoal, which is undermining the move or undermining the efforts by the government to address climate change. For innovation, Makerere University School of Food Technology, Nutrition and Bioengineering has invented an indoor solar cooker. This, amongst which are other measures that are being put in place in regards to innovation to ensure that we control how we destroy the environment which we live in. Now, Maxwell Cooker offers 100% undisturbed cooking and zero emissions, according to the findings from the day of its launch. The project is funded by the government of Uganda through the Makerere Research and Innovation Fund and Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat that is under the office of the President. Government has been campaigning for such innovations, although it calls for funding towards research, because you do realize that climate financing is very critical if we are to address the issues to do with climate change. And of course, you can start today by planting a tree, because across social media, many of the different graphic designers are coming up with 100 days of climate activism, and everyone is taking charge. You can have a voice, whatever you do, any human activity, be it economic or social, can lead to climate change. So we have to take this as part of us. Lastly, from our business update this morning, we head to the international scene as a US man sues lottery after being told $340 million of the win he made was an error. A Washington, D.C. man who thought he won a jackpot worth $340 million, that is approximately 270 million pounds, has sued Powerball and the D.C. Lottery, who claim they published his numbers by mistake. John Chicks said he felt numb when he first saw Powerball's winning numbers matched his ticket in January of 2023. But when Mr. Chicks presented his ticket to the Office of Lottery and Gaming, his claim was denied. One of the claims agents told him that the ticket was no good, just to throw it in the trash later on, according to what Mr. Chicks revealed. He's now suing the lottery for damages in the amount of the Powerball jackpot plus the interest he would have earned on it per day, totaling up to $340 million US dollars. Now, besides that, according to court documents, Powerball and the lottery contractor, the DC-based Toyota Enterprises, claim the confusion arose from a technical error. In a court filing, a Toyota employee said that on 6th January 2023, the day Chicks bought his ticket, a quality assurance team was running tests on the website. On that day, a set of test Powerball numbers which matched Chicks' numbers was posted at the website accidentally, according to court documents, and those numbers remained online for 3 days until 9th January. The numbers online did not match the numbers that were drawn at the last lottery, according to the Toyota employee. Neither Powerball or Toyota have come out to give more details of the same. Chicks is now suing on 8 separate counts, including breach of contract, negligence, infliction of emotional distress, and fraud. Well, back to Uganda, let's look at the forex market. How you will find the forex as opening business today. Close of business yesterday saw the US dollar buy at 3,873.83, while selling was 3,883.83. The Great Britain pound was buying at 4,887.99, while selling at 4,900.69. The euro was buying at 4,176.37, while selling at 4,187.15. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 26.80, while selling at 26.87. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.52 shillings, while selling at 1.52 shillings. The South African rand was buying at 205.18, while selling at 206.71. Well, that's how you will find the forex market as opening business today. And that is it from the business update this morning. Coming up is the traffic updates with Chantal Olive.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UPC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning once again. Thank you for joining us. These are the traffic updates as you're trying to make your way to town. Now, I cannot give you every single place that you might be thinking of using, but right now I am on Gaba Road trying to make my way to town. People who use that road are people that are going to Buziga side, people that are going to Bunga side, and all the other areas that you know that go past that, Munyonyo as well for those that use that route. So along Gaba Road, I am trying to make my way to town, but everything seems okay. There's just a little bit of holdups. Just if I may take you a little bit at the back when you are coming from further Gaba Road and the places that have Soya Stage. Now around Soya Stage, as you can see, there is a bit of an orange and red because of the junction that takes you to Chibale Road, and that is where you'll be finding a lot of traffic. Moves really slow and also gets a bit held up. So at that point, you realize that you need to brace yourself if you are thinking of using that road. Now, still further at the back, when you're still on Gawa Road, you're looking at Bunga side. Now, Bunga, in just a few minutes ago, when I was trying to check for this route, seemed actually okay. But as we speak, as you can see, there is a lot of traffic when it comes to Bunga Road. Now, right now, when you look at Oryx Bunga, you realize that because of it's a bit of a junction, you realize that there is a lot of traffic. Now, those who are coming from Gawa Road, coming from Munyonyo side, coming from inside Bunga as well, you are headed for some bit of traffic all the way as you cross through, and as you can see the deep red zones showing you that there is a lot of traffic on that road as you're trying to make your way to town. But if you're coming from town trying to go further into Bunga Gaba Road, you'll realize that the holdups are quite manageable, unlike when you are trying to make your way to town. Now, as you can see, the red and orange lines are indicative of too much traffic, especially on when you look at the Soya, around Soya Mosque. Look at Total Bunga, a lot of traffic on there, and proceeding all the way. Now, after that, you realize that as you're moving, there is nowhere you will not find traffic, except just a little bit of space before you reach Galaxy FM. That is where there is a little bit of no traffic, and the reason as to why when you're closing into that junction around there is traffic is because of the junction, of course. But as you proceed further, you realize that there is a lot of traffic on Gaba Road. So brace yourself as you're trying to make your way to town using this Gaba Road. And like I said, if you're trying to come back from town, traffic is really smooth. Not that it's not there, but it's really smooth. And in most areas, you'll find yourself having most of the road to yourself, being able to move. But for us who are trying to get to town, you realize that there is a lot of traffic until after UK Mall. That is where you'll find that there is no traffic, and this goes all the way through Kansanga, Action Aid International Uganda. You realize that you are okay to move past via Kabalagala police station. If you're branching into Diplomat Road, maybe there's a bit of a hold up on there, but short of that, you are free to move. As you can see, there is no traffic until you reach. There is a bit of a hold up when you get to Kabalagala. There's a bit of a junction on there, but short of that, we are proceeding and we are seeing no traffic. Shortly past Tirupati, you have no traffic on there. After Cavendish, there is a bit of a hold up, but nothing to worry about. You are free to move. Going all the way, you realize that most of the traffic you'll be experiencing will be when you are leaving the deeper parts of Bunga, the deeper parts of Munyonyo side, trying to make your way to town. That is why you'll be finding lots of traffic all the way until you reach the junction that has the Kabalagala junction, where you can choose to go to Nsambia for those that are going to Nsambia, those that are continuing to town as well, and those that are branching in, you're trying to make your way to Muyenga, to Chibuli. That is why you'll be finding a bit of traffic. But after that, you are free to move, as you can see. And trying to make your way to town, and now you look at someone who has now connected to Nsambia side, you realize that there is not much traffic until you get to Renamol side. That is where you'll find some bit of traffic, and like I always tell you, it's usually because of the junctions, also could be because of the lights and any constructions that could be taking place on there. Short of that, as you can see on Renamol, there is a bit of traffic. But after that, you'll be free to move. If you use Mukwano Road, you're okay to move. Nsambia Road, you are okay to move. And using Nsambia Road, still trying to get to town, you're okay until you reach the newly constructed roundabout. Well, we can't go further than that, but if you're trying to make your way to town using Bunga Road, that is how traffic stands at the moment. You'll find not too much traffic until, if you're coming from Bunga side, until you reach Kawalaga, there is some good traffic. After that, you'll be free to move until you reach, if you choose to use Nsambia roundabout, you'll be hitting some jam on there. But on Mukwano Road, you seem to be okay to move. And I think until you're getting close into Ginger Road, especially the lights, that's why you'll be finding some traffic. But that is it for the traffic updates. My name is Chantal, and coming up is Good Morning Uganda. That is Good Morning Uganda Agenda with Robert Chirabo.
Of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.
My name is Kano Edith Nakarima Asuzwa. I head the State House Investors Protection Unit established by His Excellency Retired General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. The Uganda Electronic Investors Protection Portal is a digital platform that empowers investors to get authentic information, make inquiries, report, verify, and receive feedback. The Electronic Investors Protection Portal serves all existing and prospective investors, both domestic and foreign, as well as the general public, through enabling whistleblowers to report any concerns about investing in Uganda. The electronic portal guides investors with important and necessary information on investing in Uganda. It also offers a quick reporting and enforcement mechanism while ensuring real-time feedback. The Uganda Electronic Investors Protection Portal gives you access to authentic information and resources that are designed to help you make informed investment decisions and avoid common pitfalls.
To access the portal, log on to protection.statehouseinvest.go.ug or visit our website www.statehouseinvest.go.ug. Email us on info@statehouseinvest.go.ug or call us on 0326 100630. Visit our office at Lumumba Avenue, Plot 51B, Nakasero Hill, Kampala, Uganda. The State House Investors Protection Unit, empowering investors. UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
107.3 Kampala, 96.9 Mbale, 95.7 Jinja, 98.6 Soroti. You are all covered.
UBC Butego. UBC Butego.
Buri munya-Uganda nayitinga amakuru marungi. UBC West eyina amakuru marungi kandi agari kwesigwa. Rero za program zayo ziri omu Runyakitara hamwe n'Orufumbira. UBC West eyine tekinologiya ey'omurembe eri kugibasisa kuhika omu bicweka byona omu ihanga nangu n'aheeru y'eihanga. Tukwatire aha frequency zetu. Kisoro 97.7 Fama, Kabari 93.7 Fama, Hoima 99.1 Fama, Kampala 5.7 Fama, Mbarara 97.4 Fama, Footpoto 98.8 Fama, Masindi 5 Fama. Kurikiriza UBC West ohurire mbaganiza. UBC West empika huna.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on Good Morning Uganda. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda. And recently we saw our government in a bid